Hello everybody and welcome to our second Python tutorial. In the last tutorial, we saw how to give a name to a value so Python can remember it. We assigned names to numbers, but really we can assign names to any object. For example, we can assign a name to a string like this. A string is an object that stores a sequence of characters, such as the characters J, E, F, and F. Objects that represent whole numbers, on the other hand, are called integers, or int for short. We can inspect what kind of object a name refers to using the type function like this. The name string refers to an object of type str, which is short for string, and the name number refers to an object of type int, which is short for integer. Whenever we assign a name, that name always refers to an object, and every object has a type. The type of an object is extremely important because the type tells us what we can do with that object and how it behaves when we do things with it. Let's look at an example of what that means. Let's quickly remember that number still equals 5. Now we can add number to itself just like this by using the plus operator, and the result is 10. However, we can also add two string objects with exactly the same plus operator. Now something entirely different has to happen because our mathematical way of addition does not make sense for strings. The result is not entirely intuitive, but it is Jeff twice. The plus operation joins two strings, it connects them. We can repeat that operation to get Jeff 3 times if we want to. This example shows nicely why types matter. We have the flexibility of using the same operator, in this case the plus operator, for different types. But that means we have to be aware of the type our objects have to predict what the operator will actually do. What happens now when we start to mix up types? Let's first remember string is still Jeff and is of type string. Number is still 5 and is of type int. What happens, for example, when we multiply a string by a number? You may have guessed the result already. What we get is Jeff concatenated 5 times. While Python is very flexible and allows us to mix types, we cannot use any operation on any mixture of types. For example, adding a number to a string is not defined and will give us an error. If we want to perform this operation, we have to manually convert the number to a string. We can do this by calling the string constructor on number. We have now converted number to its string representation, which is simply the digit 5, and then added it to string. This gives us Jeff concatenated with the digit 5. This illustrates an important point, because we did the same thing twice. Once it failed, and the other time it worked. And all we did to make it work was to convert our integer to a string. That's why I all the time say types are important. Finally, you may have noticed that usually we don't tell Python directly what kind of object we want to create. When we assign a name to a value with the equal sign, Python simply looks to the right of the equal sign and figures the type out for itself. And there are rules about how the type is decided. But there is a way to specify exactly what kind of object we want to create. And I already showed you how to do this for strings. We do so by calling the string constructor. When we call the string constructor on the number 5, we get the character 5 as a string. Now, when we assign the name number to 55, there is just a whole number to the right of the equal sign, and Python will create an integer for us. There is another simple thing we can do to change the type that is assigned here. We can put apostrophes around 55, and now we get the string representation of 55. anything with apostrophes around it will be recognized as a string. This concludes today's look at names. And the main thing I want you to take away from this video is that objects are important, and I hope I could show you why. I will also let you in on a little secret. Anything in Python is an object, and we refer to all objects with names. Because Python consists entirely of objects and names, you will have a really easy time programming as soon as you completely understand objects, types, names, and how they are related with each other. That takes a bit of time, and we will continually work on understanding those during this tutorial. In the next tutorial, we will go through all the types that are used to represent numbers, and I hope you'll join me for that. See you then.